So it is a late night drive recording. I don't have too much light, so sorry for the darkness. I wanted to talk about our. I made a video on change the way you see things. So let's just use, say you have someone in your life that feels pretty toxic. They make you feel heavy. They make you feel uncomfortable. So you can view it as from a victim standpoint, and that's fine. I'm not saying that's not good. I know there's a lot of articles and videos out there saying that, oh, you shouldn't play the victim, but I feel like everything is a procession and progression. So if that's the phase or the stage that you are in, then you should honor and acknowledge that. But eventually I feel, graduate up to a place where you no longer have to play a victim card, and you actually take responsibility and accountability for your viewpoint, or which angle you choose to view things in. So a toxic person is a great example. You could say, oh, this person is toxic. This person makes me feel a certain way that feels heavy and, unaligned, things like that. And, you can look for sympathy. And I think, like I said, it's part of the process. You don't quite understand what is happening, and so you are, inquiring to see like what you can do to alleviate the energies that you're exposed to around like a toxic individual. On the other hand, you can remove yourself, you can avoid. That is also a valid methodology depending on where you are currently at. But if you want to take it higher, you can see the toxic person as somebody who has entered your experience to teach you something. What are they trying to teach you? They're trying to, well, I just feel like, you have a toxic person in your life because they're in alignment with you, and you may not agree with that, but I feel like you attract everything and everyone into your experience based on your frequency and what you would like to learn or master. Now, you can't learn or master anything if you're not exposed to certain things and elements that give you the playing ground to level up and practice. I mean, like anything in life, like, if you don't work a muscle, it becomes weak. So you're attracting a toxic person in your life. It's probably something that you need to grow through in order to level up. It's as simple as that. I mean, obviously when you're enmeshed with this person, it feels very uncomfortable, it feels very heavy, it feels very, discomforting, and I don't know what other words to use, but I think you get the point. But they're trying to show you many things. I mean, instead of the victim card, you can say, well, I can use this as practice to see, how much I have mastered this particular segment of life. You can use it as a gauge. You can also practice your compassion muscle. You can practice your tolerance muscle, your understanding muscle, your mindfulness awareness muscle, in order to strengthen that. And as you move forward through life, it'll get easier and easier and easier because you've strengthened that aspect of yourself. So I don't know, like when I look back on my life and I see all the if you want to label it terrible things that have happened, traumatic things that have happened. These are all labels to describe things so that your mind can properly digest and process something. I can honestly say that the worst times were some of the best times of my life because it has taught me a lot, and it has helped me to become who I am today. You know, if you don't expose yourself to these things, and you aren't pressured to move, so often we just kind of stay in place because it just feels comfortable. Anytime anything is comfortable, you just kind of stagnate. You're not motivated to like move or push through and eliminate anything. You just kind of stagnate. So yeah, I see people who have put me through the worst situations as some of my greatest teachers, to be honest. And I don't know, I am really grateful. I mean, I think at the time I was very resentful, and I was very hurt and very, felt very weak amidst these situations, circumstances, and people. But, that's part of the process, and you can't guilt trip yourself. You can't make yourself feel bad. I mean, we're all doing the best that we can in any moment, And nobody has taught us that we can see things from a different angle. We can question, we can inquire, we can, we have all the tools within us to surpass anything, to be honest. Surpass any barriers that present themselves. I also think that everything that we consume on a mental, emotional, physical, spiritual level needs to be processed, obviously, and also it needs to be eliminated. And whenever you get stuck anywhere, it's just because you're probably constipated energetically, like physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You are constipated, and that's why you get stuck, stuck anything. I mean, if you eat the wrong food, it could get lodged in your digestive tract, and it's harder to eliminate. Mental, emotional, thoughts that are not properly digested get lodged and become constipated in the mind. Just get stuck. That's why you do the loops. Emotional, and they're all tied together. So, you just have to give yourself and allow yourself the space and time, proper space and proper time to digest, process, and eliminate without expectations. I think we place a lot of expectations upon ourselves, and that can be reflected in our projections that we place on others. It's all interconnected. Yeah, some things just take a longer time to digest and process, and that's okay. You just have to just kind of allow things to take its natural course instead of trying to force. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I mean, that's what happens. I start off on a subject and then I go off on a tangent. But yeah, so I think like when we digest things, we digest them in segments. It's not just kind of like you eat a papaya and then it just comes out in one go. There's a process. Like once it enters your mouth, it needs to be processed, and distributed in certain areas of your body, and then it gets to your colon, and then you can eliminate. But even in the elimination process, I know this is a strange analogy, when you're on the toilet, it's released in segments. It's not released in necessarily one go. Um, Same when you're giving birth to a child, the baby comes out in segments. The head appears, then you have to push through, the chest appears, the arms, the abdomen, legs, feet, So everything is consumed, processed, and eliminated in segments. I think it's applicable to all of life. And we have a tendency, I think we've been conditioned to rush things, force our will upon things. But in actuality, you just kind of have to learn to just kind of let go and allow things to move with ease and grace. And if you haven't gotten to that point, don't be too hard on yourself. I mean, we're all like at certain levels or degrees of being, right? But yeah, I mean, everything is interconnected. Everything is happening because it's in alignment with who you are and what you want to learn in order to master and level up. That's all it is. That's all life is. If you take it too seriously, that's when you like create a lot of unnecessary stress and tension and disease. Does not need to be there. You choose. Do you want to make it hard on yourself, or do you want to make it easy on yourself? And then, based on the choice of your methodology, that'll be projected into the external realm, and that will be projected upon the things and people that enter your experience. I have no idea if it made sense. I just wanted to understand why, we have such a hard time processing and eliminating certain experiences, you know? And I think it has to do with, like, depends on the consumption. Like, have you consumed something that's really complex and dense, or are you consuming things that are really light and subtle? If you're going to eat like a huge steak, that's going to take a lot longer to digest and process than a papaya or apple would, or a watermelon, just depends. And we're choosing all the time, subconsciously and consciously, and you can't really blame anyone or anything, because you've actually asked for it. You've asked for the experience to occur. You've asked for certain people to enter your experience in order for you to consume, process, digest, and eliminate, so that you can become who you are. Anyways, thanks for listening. 13 minutes. Have a beautiful, beautiful night or day wherever you are, and blessings to one and all. Amen.